In the Golan Heights, old tanks in what's known as the Valley of Tears remind Israelis of the fierce battles fought here in the 1973 Yom Kippur War against Syrian forces. Such memories hang heavy as Israel attempts to navigate a new and very complicated geopolitical situation.
Israel's frontier with Syria is just through this valley. We can even see Syrian towns from where we're standing. We're more than 1,000 miles away from the war in Ukraine, but Israel's position on Russia is heavily influenced by what's happening just over there.
Israel often carries out airstrikes against Iranian targets in Syria, something it sees as critical to its security. But as Russia has expanded its military presence in the country in order to avoid unnecessary conflict between Russia and Israel, the two countries now have a direct hotline. Jonathan Conricus, a former Israel Defense Forces spokesperson, says the deconfliction mechanism is necessary because the Syrian battle space is so dense.
Before an Israeli airstrike is conducted, there's a call to make sure that Russian troops aren't in danger and Russian aircraft aren't operating in the area where the Israeli aircraft are.
But when Russia invaded Ukraine, Israel found itself in a tight diplomatic spot. It initially took a more cautious stance to act as mediator, worried about the hundreds of thousands of Jews in Russia and Ukraine, and its freedom of action in Syria. Although Israel has condemned the invasion, accused Russia of war crimes, and has sent plane loads of humanitarian aid to Ukraine, it's been criticized for not doing more. But comments by Russia's foreign ministry on Israel's most sensitive nerve, the Holocaust, drew one of the strongest Israeli reactions to date. And as Russia has amped up even more absurd claims about Hitler having Jewish ancestry and Israel supporting neo-Nazis in Kyiv, the rhetorical war of words could mean real on-the-ground consequences on Israeli strikes in Syria and any possible future operations against an even bigger enemy, Iran.
Russia has the ability to interfere with Israel's capabilities to defend itself and to negate Iranian military capabilities simply by being present with their advanced weaponry in Syria.
But the pressure is growing, as many believe Israel can afford those risks in order to be on the right side of history.
Security is one thing, it's very important, but we need to make sure that we're on the right side of our moral values, of our commitments to ourselves, to freedom, and to other democratic countries.
For now, the situation here on Israel's frontier with Syria is unchanged. But as the diplomatic tangles continue, it's not clear how much longer that will last. Hadass Gold, CNN, the Golan Heights.